Greetings everyone, this is First Centurion 753 with the next episode of Pan-Arabic Democracy. I want to apologize to all the fans from last week, all the live streaming fans. I missed last Saturday. It's probably the first Saturday I missed live streaming in like months. I launched a Kickstarter with a new board game, Clash in the Caucasus. And I'll probably post a link in the video if anyone's interested. It's a political strategy game on the presidential election. There is a video on my YouTube channel, and so that kind of occupied me a little bit. But I will be back this Saturday, tomorrow, and before I launch that live stream tomorrow morning, I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a strategic overview of what the situation is so far. Since it's been about 2 weeks since I played, I needed a little bit of strategic overview myself. We're still at war in Bahrain, and there are several other countries at war with Bahrain, Turkey. We still have allied forces moving in the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. German and Polish forces, looks like the Germans are on their way first. We've got some pretty strong numbers for the Germans in the Red Sea. Some moving into the Gulf of Aden now. I don't know exactly what these forces are. These are probably tanks right there. And that looks like infantry. There are some close forces that are much closer. The closest is a unit of 8,000. This must be 7 tanks right there. And there is a unit approaching almost in the Persian Gulf here. That's going to be the first unit. Looks like 10 tanks on the way. Bahrain itself, we did wipe out the Navy. There are, I think these are rocket launchers. Looks like about 8 of them. They can't have too many more forces because they've been sending their forces. Looks like they have 4 men. So they can't have too much left. I guess they keep pumping units out of these army bases. So hopefully when our allied forces get there, they'll be able to overrun them. Because we wiped out our entire force. I am not a great military strategist in this game yet. Have not fought many wars. This is one of the first major conflicts I've been involved in. I guess I fought a few with the Russian series, which I lost eventually. I guess Libya was my most successful, but that was a scenario which was completely different from anything else. So I think eventually, as long as I hold out, there are Turkish forces also defending our country, which is good because our military is completely wiped out. But I think as long as I can hold on to office, eventually the Allies will come and take care of Bahrain for us, and the war should end in our favor. But there are elections. Elections are about 2 months away, and recently we've been taking some dives in the polls due to military strategy. Care for refugees, that hasn't been too bad. The refugees are actually on their way back to Basra because Basra has been relieved by Turkish forces. So we've got about 70,000 refugees on their way back. But again, my biggest problem is going to be these elections. And if this military strategy continues to tank, I may not get re-elected, because this was the second major hit that I got. 7.4 there, and there must have been almost another 7.4 there, maybe even more. Care for refugees was not typically going down that much. So hopefully that'll turn around with the Germans, if the Germans can get there in time. Also, I did put in a number of orders in the military. I have 21 tanks that I purchased. I still have 111 missiles. I've got rockets for infantry. I never get to use those. And, oh, look at that. We got our fighters back. Okay. So I might be able to actually use these fighters to start bombing their bases. Somehow our fighters got taken out last time. There are a number of forces here. These are all rocket launchers, I think. That looks like a rocket launcher. That might be a tank. I'm not sure. Well, let's see if I can zoom in. That's a rocket launcher. Those are rocket launchers. I should probably try to take out these rocket launchers at sea with those... What is that? Oh, look at those rocket launchers. They might have been the ones that took me out. Alright. Where are they? They are in Kuwait. Is that a Kuwaiti island? Yes, it is. Oh, so they have access to Kuwait. Interesting. I'm gonna probably take them out in Kuwait. That might cause some problems, but we have a strong alliance network, which is basically what's keeping us alive. Anyways, that's the military situation. For the election, for my campaign, issues I'm planning on making promises for. I'm going to probably promise to raise minimum wage. Associations include, there's only 6 in Iraq. AIDS, which is not a big association. Iraq's population, 36 million. AIDS group is only 16.5. But I still might try to get an endorsement. A lot of these associations are not happy with me. Animal friends and protectors. I probably should have backed this one up a little bit. Anti-racism group really doesn't like me. Yuck. Humanitarian group. Ooh, the humanitarian group likes me. Probably gonna grab an endorsement from him. I think I can promise him minimum wage. Seniors, they like me, and I have some senior citizen promises I'm thinking too. So possible campaign promises I can make: AIDS research to the AIDS group. Which I think I'll end up just doing half this time, because I want to save some for later. And if I have it, I can't say that word. It's only gonna be about 152 million. So that'll probably be a promise I make there. I'd like to make a promise to the animal group. It's not a lot of money. Where is it? Protecting fauna. I mean, oh, that's like $1 million. That's only $1 million. That's nothing. So, you know, I think I'll probably make a promise there. For the elderly, I could probably promise geriatric funding. About 100 million to geriatric departments. Or actually 52 million would be about half. 55 million. So that will probably be a promise there. So the main topics again, I'm going to look to AIDS research for the age group, fauna funding for animals, geriatric funding for seniors, minimum wage, which I could probably promise to the anti-racism group, hopefully, and the humanitarian group. And I'll definitely get an endorsement from that humanitarian group. So those are the type of promises I'm looking to campaign on. I also might look to improve some of the dilapidated housing in the area. I wanted to do housing subsidies, but I forgot where they were. If anyone knows, please post. Let me know. Remind me where the housing subsidies are, because I forgot. Elfions, I'm talking to you with that. But there are some dilapidated houses here, which we might try to improve on. I was thinking something along the lines of 10,000 dilapidated houses. 66 million. That's a devilish number. About 133 over 5 years, each year. And manpower-wise, that will give us, that will allocate 100,000 manpower. The other thing I was curious about is, could I actually order general demobilization? Send reservists back to their home. There aren't there isn't anybody left, so why not do these? And if I did do them, how would that impact my popularity? That's what I'm nervous about. I don't know how that would impact the popularity. But those are my major policy issues. Additionally, I'm going to look for some endorsements. Some right off the bat. There's a political journalist out there who is a big fan, and he is not in the intellectual group. He must be in the artist group. Political journalist, where are you? There you are, political journalist. Yes, I think I'm going to grab an endorsement from him right away. Decent popularity for 76. There is a fashion designer who seems to like me as well. I looked at this before. There it is. There he is. He loves me. 62% is good enough, so I might go for those 2 endorsements right off the bat. And then go ahead and meet with some of these athletes and artists who really seem, who I can promise a few things for. Athletes in particular. Football player, sailing champion, and tennis champion are right on the verge there, so I'm going to arrange meetings with them. You know what? I should probably actually set these meetings up, right? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and set these meetings up right now. Tennis player. Set a meeting up with him. Sailing champion. Oh, he's very popular. Set a meeting up there. 83. That's huge. Footballer. I'm going to go ahead and set a meeting up with him for Tuesday. Let's go ahead and get that political journalist. There he is. Squeeze him in on Monday. Get that early week endorsement and hopefully stop some of the bleeding over here. Those meetings are set. There's also a commentator and the union leader. There's one union. The Union. Iraqi Unions Alliance. This guy really loves me. So I'm going to definitely go ahead and set up a meeting with him. What's his popularity? He doesn't... current popularity is 72. I'm actually going to make him week 2 of this campaign. Kick off another big endorsement that week. Okay. I have to check these off as I go along. I forgot to grab a... let's see here. Alright, so those meetings are set up. And I'm probably just going to go ahead and promise those athletes some sports funding. Probably for each one. We can go into specific disciplines here. Soccer. That's only $390. What was the other one? Sailing. give him like 342 or something like that. And then the other one was tennis. The other thing I might do for the tennis is I could possibly promise... There's actually 2 tennis players. I could promise a stadium. I was thinking maybe 50,000 person stadium on top of that, which I could possibly promise to a specific region, which might even help me within that region as well. Other things, I might end up setting up meetings with some of these actors, filmmakers, singers, look to fund rock, rap, and techno music, fun theater, fun family film. I might make some of those promises. And there is a naturalist, apparently, who's like at 100% popularity. Must be under the intellectual. Yeah, and oh wow, why am I not meeting with him right away? I should meet with him on Monday. Alright, let me go back to my personal calendar here. Political journalist, I'm going to save him for later. Change that date to the next week, Monday, March 19th. And then let's meet with that naturalist. That guy seems to 100% popularity and a pretty good smile. You're gonna be my first endorsement. I feel like the first endorsement usually has the bigger impact. And so I want to get the guy who's going to give me the best impact first. Maybe that'll even bring me up into the 70s again. So, that is my campaign strategy in a nutshell. All this financing, I'm thinking the raising minimum wage will probably cost me about 183 million. A's research is about almost 200 million. Fauna funding's about 1.4 million. Geriatrics is about 52 million. Dilapidated housing, you saw at 66 million. So to fund all that, I'm probably going to end up raising the company taxes about 1% at least. One of the advantages we have is a pretty low unemployment rate, 3.9. That's not bad. Our growth has slowed to 8.4. Inflation is slowly going back down, but it's still pretty high. So, hoping the minimum wage will correct that when we pass minimum wage. And a company tax. Let's just check that out real quick. Company tax increase would generate 673 million, which will pay for at least half of everything I wanted to promise there. And it will just pass. It will not be favorable in our coalition here, our conservative coalition, but the liberal groups will appreciate it. 87%, 100%. Yeah, these are mostly against, but I can pull enough support to get 63.9%. The people will like it, so I'm not going to promise it necessarily during the campaign, but I will go ahead and probably do that afterwards, after I pass all that stuff. And how much will I actually pass? You know, may I actually, renege on some of the promises? Who knows? I'll decide that if I win or not. But that is the basic campaign strategy. And we're about at 20 minutes, but I wanted to go over a general overall global strategy, just to give you a picture of Iraq's status in the world. Conflict is mostly with our neighboring countries. The neighboring countries do not seem to like us too much. Iran, which I'd like to get over because Iran is not one of the objectives. It is not an Arabic country, and I would be fine with normalizing relations with them, maybe even establishing some sort of trade agreement, or a trade treaty, I'd be fine with that. Saudi Arabia is definitely a country I do want to conquer, or at least conquer part of it and overwhelm some of it. The Gulf states here, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, none of these are all emirates, religious monarchies. So they all really need to go down according to my initial plan for this goal for this series. And I know some people were saying that I was kind of moving away from the goal with getting too obsessed with conquest and everything. I see that happening. But I do have several measures that I'm planning on going after once I win the election, if I win the election, because this is all about spreading democracy, really. And so some democratic steps I plan on taking first: freedom of expression, freedom of religion. Maybe that's going to be a tough one, actually. And probably privatize all TV channels. Those are three measures that I think I can get passed in Parliament. Of course, that will also depend on the results of the election. And we are in election mode now, I believe. There we go. It looks like we're leading the pact for now. We're going to have to make some campaign promises. We can make 15 is the maximum. Campaign itself, I thought I could do a fundraising campaign. I guess not. The other thing I probably should meet with is the billionaire guys. There are two of them, and they could fund me legally now, I think, because the campaign's going. I think. I'm not sure about what the campaign laws are. I don't know if they have campaign laws. The left-wing billionaire. I'll probably promise him a raise in minimum wage, maybe? I don't know. I might make him a promise first and then come back to meet with him later and see if he'll want to give me some money after that. Alright, so again, that's the election. But back to the world itself. In northern Iraq, the city of Sinjar is still under control by the Syrian government. Syria is facing a Kurdish rebellion here in the northeast, as well as some territory they control in the northwest. Not Aleppo. Aleppo is under control of the Syrian government. But it looks like... Can I get a reading on them? Okay. Number of fighters, 36,000. They're communist. Mercenaries, a lot of pickup trucks. I could probably try to keep that rebellion going, maybe, and support the Kurds. I do have my own Kurdish faction in the northern Iraq, which has a number of bases, and I assume they're probably supplying them weapons. But Syria is not really a conflict I'm interested in getting involved in. For strategic purposes, grabbing these Gulf states will improve our oil production overall, and that might be the best thing for this game to start, so I have the power to go ahead and deal with conflicts from around the rest of the world. For the rest of the Arabic world, we're allied well with Egypt, even though they're probably not a democracy. They're labeled as a republic. Military totalitarian. We gotta remove that, and we gotta make it a democracy. Libya, there's chaos in Libya still. It's democratic republic, but will that actually stand? I don't know. Maybe I could send special forces there to try to put down rebellions. Yeah, Jihad's Caliphate. I'm familiar with that situation because I played the scenario. We're hurting with Algeria. They are a presidential socialist republic. I'm not sure about that one. Morocco is a monarchy. We should overthrow the monarchy. Tunisia is one country I wish I should try to improve relations with, because they are the one Arabic democracy. Although Lebanon here, I have good relations with them, and in the game they're considered to be a republic parliamentary. I did some research, and who was it? Freedom House, I think, which was like a U.S. nonpartisan NGO, ranked them as the third most democratic country in the Middle East, below Israel, Turkey, and then Lebanon. So I guess they stand as a democracy, and we could probably strengthen our relationship with them. We have a good relationship with Israel, which is amazing that an Arabic country has a good relation with a Jewish country. Can we intervene in that conflict? We have good relations with Palestine as well. Doesn't seem like they have too much of a conflict, but this is an authoritarian presidential regime, which is not the type of regime that we want for the Arabic people. So, again, that's pretty far away as far as the general scope of things here. Our sphere of influence, we're much more concerned with these major countries around us. Globally, most of the Western countries in the world seem to like us. European countries, we seem to be on the side of NATO and the United States. Communist countries do not. It's Cuba and Venezuela. And some of these African countries don't seem to trust us too well. Decent relations with India. Bad relations with Russia and China. But good with Japan. So India might be another country we could start trading with as well. Or maybe establish some sort of alliance or an agreement there. An alliance with India could be beneficial. They are pretty close. We actually have good relations with Pakistan too, and I wonder if things will get disrupted if we ally with one. That's something I have to consider as well. But this has been a general overview. Hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to comment. That is an Iraqi refugee camp set up in Jordan. Okay. And Jordan is another monarchy that will have to be eventually overrun or overthrown if we survive past this election. So that's another big issue. So I'll continue live streaming tomorrow morning. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you did. Also, if you're interested in politics and you like board games, check out my Kickstarter. Again, I'm going to put a link in the video. There will be a link probably in the description below. And feel free to support me on Kickstarter. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.